In number 39, they're asking us to do two things right here. So with this chart and this table of values right here, they first want us to find fg prime of 4. And in a minute, then we'll figure out the second thing they're asking us for. So fg prime of, nope, that's not how I wanted to do that. Fg prime, there we go, of 4 would be written that way. And what they're asking us to do here is to take the derivative of fg of x and then stick a 4 in there eventually. So that is where I'm going to answer this problem in a moment. But before I do that, I actually have to find first the derivative of fg just taken with respect to x. Or another way to write that would be really the derivative here with respect to x of that fg means f of x multiplied by g of x. So we've got to find our general derivative here before we find a specific value of the derivative. So let's get to it, guys. This is asking us to use the product rule. It's the derivative of the product f of x times g of x. So that's going to be the first factor, f of x, times the derivative of the second, g prime of x, plus the second factor, g, multiplied by the derivative of the first, so that would be f prime of x. Now that's as much as we can do with these kind of generic statements here about f and g. So that's really all we've got right here for that derivative. It can't be simplified. So now we can go ahead and do what we were looking to do right here. Take fg prime and then try to figure out what happens when you plug a 4 in there for x. So since we're relatively new to this, I'll write all this out, but this is a step you can probably skip here pretty soon once you get the hang of this. F of 4 times g prime of 4 plus g of 4 and then times f prime of 4. Like I said, you'll probably be able to read that right out of the table. So here we go. F of 4 is the first column in that table. That's going to be 10. We're multiplying that by g prime of 4, which is going to be a negative 1, plus g of 4 is 5, and the value of f prime of 4 is negative 2. And it looks like that's going to get us a negative 10 plus another negative 10. So it looks like negative 20 is going to be the answer to the first part of that problem. Fg prime of 4, what they were asking for in number 39 there, looks like it's negative 20. Okay, let me switch colors over here. And now for the second part of this, they want us to find f over g prime of 4. So let me learn my lesson right here. I'll kind of go right to the general sense here. So f over g prime of x. I'm looking for my general derivative here. So they're asking us to take the derivative with respect to x of the quotient now, f of x, divided by g of x. All right, and that, hopefully, obviously, is going to require the quotient rule since there's going to be variables on both the top and the bottom. So here we go. The denominator, g of x, gets multiplied by the derivative of the top, that's going to be f prime of x, minus the top, f of x, multiplied by the derivative of the bottom, g prime of x, all over the denominator squared. So I'm going to put brackets here and then do g of x and then quantity squared, and here we go. And now, guys, I tell you what, I hope you're okay. I'm going to skip this step right here where I just replace all of the x's with 4s, and now let's go ahead and start actually working on our answer here. So f over g prime of 4. Here we go, guys, and hopefully you can follow along here. The first thing I need is g of 4, and from the table I see that that value is 5. We're going to multiply that by f prime of 4, which is a negative 2. Got it. Minus f of 4 right there is going to be 10 multiplied by g prime of 4, which is negative 1. I think something interesting just happened there. And then down on the bottom, the g of 4, the table tells me is 5, and that has to get squared, but something tells me that is not going to matter if I read the numerator right. Let's take a look, guys. 5 times a negative 2 is going to be a negative 10. And then minus 10 times negative 1 is plus 10. Yep, that's what I thought. That numerator equals 0. And as long as our denominator isn't 0, which in this case it's 25, we're going to end up with a big fat goose egg here for our answer. So answer to the first part of number 39 was negative 20, and the second part using the quotient rule was going to be 0.